I got my thing back. I hope this one doesn't get broke for a while. We had a bad night last night. Stella has been up a lot. She's very uncomfortable. And I keep trying all the different things that I can think of to try. It's like, fuck, man. So, um, anyways, one of the things is I got another thing yesterday from the house place, And so, and yesterday's was yellow. And the other ones have been pink. And they come time sensitive. But they all say the same thing. It's like this form letter. It says they sold my house on the 1st of March, 2024. If I feel I'm wrongfully foreclosed upon, I need to, fight back with, what do they say? See what my options are as a homeowner due to inflation and hardship, new government programs. See, I think this is all I feel like, because before when I've lost the house, so I mean, it was faster. Like I had a letter, who bought the house and stuff. Like they didn't keep sending me things. Well, if you don't agree with this, let us know. It's like I already sent you a thing and told you I didn't agree with it, and you were going against my human rights. And they had me write. They had their lawyer write back that tough titties. Who cares? And I'm completely wrong. I don't have human rights, I guess. And then, but now it just seems like this is a part of the collapse. I guess like over in Cuba, the people got up 4 days ago or something. Everybody's bank account was cleared out. It was zero. Nobody had any money. That can be what can happen here. That's the thing. And see, that's 4 days. This is, I think, 5 days. I don't know. You'd have to look it up because what I was seeing, maybe it wasn't. Because so many people share things and then you don't know, like, oh, well, maybe it happened in March and I didn't hear about it and somebody else is sharing it now. And then you think it's happening right now. So, anyways, you'd have to go look. But the same kind of things have happened in other places. So they just had zero in the accounts. And then one thing that's coming out here is like JP Morgan, Citibank. It was a few. I'll look for the post about it and I'll share it. But they have all, I don't know, they've looked in their accounts and they are $7.4 trillion that is missing. Wonder whose money that would be. Yeah, so that is, just watch how fast everything flips, everything turns, because everything is going to fall apart in their world. It's going to collapse. The money thing is going to collapse. And we're right on the edge, especially when you're paying attention to what's going on everywhere else. And then when you go and you look into it, you figure out like about the BRICS and about the money changing and all that stuff, then you see we're right on the brink of this collapse. And then plus the government and stuff, like it's so at the surface. And there is so many people saying like, what in the world, what kind of election year is this? Like, where's all of the drama that we've been accustomed to for fucking decades? This is just kind of like, oh, well, this one's in court, this one's doing, it's like, and then there's so many people who are so outraged. These are the two options. This is it. This is what we got. And then you have just random people who are trying to get on the ballot. Like there's just so much chaos. There's so much chaos and so many. Oh my God. When I said there was going to be a lot of bad, freaking crazy murders and shit, like, oh my God, so fucking many and so many crazy accidents. One crazy one, a kid had his cross, his Jesus cross, and it somehow got into a plug-in for a phone or something and electrocuted him, and it cut the chain right through his neck and stuff. He didn't die, but I got electrocuted when I was a kid. And I was thinking about this morning because they were saying, he could have died, he could have died. And I was told that if you get electrocuted by 110, because I got electrocuted by 110, that, generally that you'll be fine. It's more when it gets up to 220 and above is when it's really bad. I don't even know what lightning is. And then it also has to do with how the current flows through you. If it has an exit, then it has a way to move out of you or something. But when it happened to me, I was a little kid. I don't know. I think I was like 10 years old or something, and my light bulb had burned out in my bedroom. And so I went to go change the light bulb, and I stuck my thumb down inside of the thing, and the light bulb had been broken off. So I stuck it down into the metal part of it, and that electrocuted me. Like, I hurt like a bitch. That's why I can't, like, and I've been electrocuted other times too. And that is why, when there was this one test that I went to go get done, where I swear to God, they just run you through tests, run you through tests, and run you through tests. There's this video I just saw of a girl crying because here in America, they kept telling her she was about to die. She went to Germany to get a second opinion and found out, like, she could be cured. Like, everything over here is just like, it's so chaotic over here. And they always want us to just run more tests, run more tests. And I have a whole bunch of different medical things coming into my mind, like the bullshit over in Canada. Like, there's so much. Is it over in Canada? I saw a video where a woman was talking about that she had come over here and had to go to the hospital, and she couldn't believe how nice they were. She's like, man, the ones over in Canada, it's like a fucking welfare clinic. And you have to sit there for hours and hours. People can't get treatment. It's free, but, nobody can. And then when you have something serious, they just put you off until you die. They're just like, it's fine. You can die. And then, but let me think where it was. Because the electricity. Oh, yeah, because when I went in to get some tests that they were looking, something with my veins or something, I don't even remember. She had such a bad time. They started doing this test on me to see, like, if the nerve was going the whole way or something. And whatever it was like these little electric shocks. And they did like 2 or 3 of them to me. I was like, hell no. There's no fucking way I can do this test. And then, so they made a big fit about it. It's a huge fucking fit. They go get the doctor. He comes out. He's trying to convince me why I need to do this test. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I cannot sit here and be electrocuted, these little shocks. It's too much like being electrocuted. Feels the same. And he said, anybody who's been electrocuted, like electricians come in, and he said the electricians can't do it. Anybody who's been electrocuted, that they can't do it. So it was like, no, it's fucking horrible. And I remember even when we were little kids that we were close to these horse pastures and there was electric line, and we would all do crazy ass shit. Sometimes kids would just go up and touch them and stuff, ride your bike down the hill and try not to hit them, and there was all sorts of stuff. But definitely got shocked by those a whole bunch of times. I think we all did when we were kids. Well, I mean, in my neighborhood, I don't know about everybody else's. And there's just so many weird things too. Like, I'm having the weirdest flashes. Like, I feel like I'm going backwards in time or something. Like, I feel like I'm going back to the 70s or 80s or something. I don't know. And everything looks really weird. Things look weird. It is like, I don't know. I feel like when I had very first started seeing how everything looked, like I was walking around in a book or something. But it feels like this book is like a good book. Like, it's like everything looks really good or something. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just having the weirdest things that keep happening. And it is, I mean, we're all at different levels of however this is going on and whatever we're experiencing. So whatever, you're experiencing, just don't get caught up in thinking like you're crazy or something. This is weird. Weird stuff is happening. Like, I'll be doing something and I'll feel like I'm in the 70s and I don't even know how to explain it. Or all of a sudden I'll feel like I'm in the 80s or something. It's like, what is happening? This is so weird. And how, do you all of a sudden feel that like when you're still sitting in the same place? It's not like I'm going somewhere else, but this feeling comes over me. And I don't know. There's just a lot of weird stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like, I don't know about, like, if it's like connecting, if it's disconnecting, if whatever it is, it's what I'm going through. And anyways, that it just seems weird. Everything seems weird. It looks weird. And I'm having these weird kind of experiences and stuff. And there keeps being more and more stuff with the supernatural stuff. I think that the Vatican is having their supernatural talk tomorrow to let maybe it's next week. Maybe it's in the 20s. Maybe it's the 24th. Maybe I'm messed up on the dates or something. Maybe it's the 24th. And when they're gonna come out and tell everybody. But maybe no, it seems like it was the 17th. It seems like but that's Friday. But I thought it was Thursday. Oh, but maybe their date is different because they're somewhere else. Even though, like, we're still lied to about this fucking place and about how we're located and where we are and stuff. So anyways, maybe it is tomorrow that they're going to release all their information about the supernatural world. But the world is a supernatural world, and there is all sorts of things happening for people. People are getting on video. Some guy was live, and he was going down, and I don't know if he always sees little people in this tree, but he went over to this tree while he was live and showed in this hole, and you see a little person come out and go back in, and people are like, how could that be CGI? Even though it was live and everybody was watching as it went. But, I don't know. I would say that stuff is real. Like, there is little tiny people. There's really huge people. There's everything. Everything that we can imagine is real, And then it's like, I feel like so much about our reality is going to become so, like, where we thought it was like multicultural before, it's going to go like multicultural planet cosmos. Like, it's going to be and like, it's a big thing, like, why we need to be able to get along with each other. We're about to be intermingling with all sorts of different beings and stuff. And so you need to be able to, be able to handle dealing with people who even look like you, because you're going to be dealing with people who don't look like you. And so many people don't give any regard to people that don't look like them. Like, think dogs don't have souls, think plants don't, like, nothing is alive around them. Nothing matters. And the amount of fucking dogs, healthy motherfucking dog puppies that they are putting to death right now is, I'm telling you, it's fucking atrocious. It is, what was another thing I had just seen where it was like, man, this is another moral issue where all these different sides keep coming up to get people to look at things, it's going to be about all the different things, about government, about money, about what you do to get money. That's a big one. So many people had lowered themselves, had just, given themselves no value as to what it was all about money, like, and what people would do for money. And it's very toxic, and it's very much drags your soul down, is, to lower yourself, especially for stuff like money, when, as a spiritual being, that whatever is supposed to happen for you will happen for you. Everything's about lessons. It's not like, well, you had to make sure you went to work and got that money so you could get this. No, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. It will come to you. And, but, I mean, right now we're breaking free from this concept of working. So it's not like, you were supposed to be not ever have it. It was a part of our society as we developed. Everything was about going to work, and where are you going to work? Where are you going to get a job? You're going to go to school. You're going to go to work. Everything was all about this movement towards our future, but it was all through artificial means. And that's, this is a breakdown in our society of how we were directed. And so as everything falls apart and blows up, that is where you start questioning things. Well, are we even going in the right direction? And, to me, it's so much more important for you to develop your own skills so that you have something to offer the world that you can profit off of, that you can, make your way in the world off of something about you. If it's whatever it is, it can be so many different things, because whatever skills that you have is something that somebody else doesn't have. Somebody else, when we all work together, we all are like the fingers of the glove. We all have different parts. And so it is like, the hand can grasp and it can do more when it has all of the parts working. And so we are the parts. And so we are all the functioning parts. And otherwise, without us as the fingers, the functioning part is just, it's just it's just a flat surface. It's just something that can't really do much by itself. And so when we all step into our role and step into our part and play our part well, then we become, fully functioning as a species, as humans. And right now, again, they're coming in hard on the push with these things and what is a human and all that stuff. It don't matter how they want to fucking categorize us or what they want to fucking say and stuff. This is all stuff for you to just evaluate for yourself. Don't get caught up in their bullshit. And when when people are freaking out, like, oh, they're going to lock us down. This is going to be a series. And this is going to, all that stuff. Remember that the people who are becoming so outraged and so freaking out, it's about their awakening. It's about for them to wake up. And, I kind of look at the lockdowns as, more of this stuff. It's, more threads. It's more like, well, keep you on edge. We're going to talk about this. Well, you better do something about your house. But I know what they want me to do is go into more of their bullshit. It really takes a lot of pulling free to be able to go, like, no, this is bullshit. You guys are bullshit. And there's more people who are getting outraged by the insurance. Every time something happens for me, it always ends up happening for all these other people. And so now there's a whole bunch of people who are being so pissed off about the insurance thing and seeing like this is forcing us to have to do this and driving up the prices is against our rights. This is something that keeps going in all these different trials. So that is going to definitely come to the surface. This insurance thing is bogus bullshit. And the more of us that keep saying, no, we're not playing this. We're not going, and you're not driving up the prices and telling us we have to have this or that. And the whole thing too is when you go back to our rights as travelers, that we don't have to have car insurance, we don't have to have car licenses, we don't have to have driver's licenses. All this stuff is in the Bill of Rights or whatever the papers are. They're written in cursive that they don't want the young people to know about, but those papers say stuff like unless you are somebody who is like somebody who was a salesman who back in the day, like a snake oil salesman, say, who went around to little towns and they were selling their stuff, and they would go from town to town to town. They were monitored somewhere in there with licenses and stuff. Like they had to have something that showed that they were traveling and selling things. And which is still all control. Like there is no reason that anybody should have any control over us. And so that's why we got to keep breaking free from all this control, because they try and, create it to where it is that we are dependent on their control. Oh yeah, there is a new spider that is here, that is from like it was in China, and then it was in Japan and Taiwan. So it's traveled all the way over here. They think probably through those big crate things that they move kids around on. That those big things, they think that those spiders were in there, and they make these funnel webs or something. These huge funnel webs that can be like 6 foot. They're saying that they're going to take over whole cities. these giant spiders are going to take over whole cities. They're going to make these giant webs. We're in trouble because we're going to be taken over by these giant fucking spiders now. And this is the kind of stuff that they push to, you see, like, oh, see why we have to spray? We have to keep these insects in check. It's like, but they look at us as the insects. And then plus I saw a guy do a video, and there was a whole swarm of something, and it caught something, and it was definitely electronic. It was not organic, natural insect. I've seen so many different people get these videos where they are catching these things that are not organic. They're some kind of bot bugs, and they are releasing all of these bot bugs. And there's some woman or some whistleblower now who's also coming out and saying that they are filling these insects up, like they're the mules, they're the carriers for their diseases, like for all these different ones. Oh yeah, and there's a big thing happening to all the people who speak about HEALTH, especially HOLISTIC, and naturopath, those kinds of things. All those are being shut down, and they're saying it's misinformation on medical, so they're closing doctors down. They're closing. If you don't agree 100% with whatever the one place is saying, and there's doctors who are catching on, who are trying to help people and tell people and give a better direction, and they're being closed down. And so that to me is another thing I've seen, of the censorship. There's so much talk about the censorship. And the one doctor who I saw talking about it, he said that how he was explaining it is exactly what I've said that they've been doing to my account this whole time. He said this is how they're going to start doing it. It's like they hold yours back. They don't let it go into the thing. That's why I've said anybody who's found mine, that is by the universe. It is not by the algorithm. That is the universe's algorithm bringing you the information so that you can see it, because not everybody has access. And I always find it fascinating as to the people who do come in, who do have access to what I'm talking about, because it's not everybody. And I see so many people trying to talk about things that they don't know about and struggling and trying to figure it out, which is good. Everybody's got to try and figure it out. And I say it is good to read books and stuff, and to do research, and to really try and understand more about the spiritual world. And don't forget, you have everything inside of you. Everything you need to know is inside of you. You're just trying to tweak it, to turn it on, and you're flipping switches. It's like your breakers have been turned off, and so you're flipping the breakers and trying to get everything fired back up for your memory so you can remember. And but let me think where I was, because the people, oh yeah, because what I talk about is my own personal stuff. And I do have, I don't know if it was 7 or 12 books or something I've got to edit of my, once I started with the Awakening. Like, these are all journals that I started doing like 2015. And it was journaling through this. And so I'm going to edit them and stuff. But this is all stuff that I'm talking about is from my personal experience. And when I started learning about reincarnation and near-death experiences, that was way back in the 80s. Like, and once you accept something, more information comes in and comes in and comes in. Like, I've seen so much stuff about reincarnation over time, different movies, which movies have disclosure, but also you have people, storytellers or writers or people who share information that they get in, that is shown to them, and they share it in story form. And oh, yesterday I watched this really good movie, and it was really cute. It was these Indian people, but they were in America, and the mom wanted to marry off the daughter. And I guess I don't know, I think that this is true, but I don't know for sure. But in India, a girl who is overweight is like, oh, nobody's gonna want to marry you. Nope, gotta lose weight. And they're very hard on in color of how dark your skin is. Like, they can be really hard on you on well, if anybody will want you. They're very specific, like, oh, these girls, those girls, they'll be taken for wives. But those girls over there, they're probably going to just be alone. So this mom had one of those daughters who wasn't meeting all of the check marks that other people expected. And for color, because they would comment about people like, oh, that's way too dark. Like, and just say mean things, really. And so the mom ends up killing them. So she has these ghosts going around with her all the time because they're attached to her until she dies, because that's the only way that they can reincarnate is when she dies. So and she's murdered them. And so she's got all these ghosts with her. It's so funny because she'll be talking to the ghosts because she can see them, and she's talking to them, and everybody's just looking at her all the time. Like, she's so weird. She'll stop, and I could totally relate. I was like, oh my God, I completely relate to what she is. You're sitting there having a conversation, you're having a real conversation, and everybody's looking like, what the fuck? So anyways, I'll share a link of that movie. It was really cute. But and they were talking about like Hindu and stuff, and they were saying, luckily for us, we all believe in reincarnation. That's the thing, is like, you'll get more and more information once you open your mind to stuff. You'll get more information. There's a lot of really good movies that you can see that show about reincarnation. Yesterday, another one popped up too with a brain injury. Only this one was what is that guy's name? Michael Gordon something or something like that. I think he was from something Rock, the show or something. And then also it had Jeff Daniels. He was like a blind guy, and the other guy was a brain injury from a car wreck. And I think he had hurt the other people in the car. It didn't finish it. It was pretty heavy. It was more heavy than the one I had watched before. It was a little bit more lighthearted. So I haven't finished that one yet. But but what was I going to say? It was something about the movie. Oh yeah, there is a bunch of good reincarnation videos though, or movies, and one is, I think it is the letter I and then Origin, and it shows about the soul and then being rebirthed and how you're drawn to each other. Like, there's a magnetic pulse that's going to pull you towards people you're on a vibration with. And that is one thing that I keep wondering over some of the stuff that I'm experiencing, is like, man, is this what it is to be pulled towards people who are on your vibration or something? Do I hear like a lot of chatter? Is there a lot of excitement? Because that's what I'm having, so much excitement. It's like, fuck. It's very intense how excited I feel. And it's like, ugh, I know there's about to be good stuff. I know a lot of people are feeling fear and stuff, and it could be you're being shown something to prepare you, because there's going to be some scary stuff that is going to go down, I think. And it's all dependent. Like, it's going to be, I mean, there's many people who get up and their bank accounts are going to be empty if that's how it goes down here, which it seems like they've been doing that. And if that goes down here, like, that's going to be very scary to some people, especially people who are already struggling. Like, there are so many people struggling. They're getting kicked out of their houses, and all this stuff with the Met Gala coming up right now, and more things. Like, another video, a woman who, she carried a purse. She paid $22,000 for this purse, and it was German water, created ice, And then it had like rose gold and all this stuff, this embellishment and stuff into this ice purse. And it came on a chain, but the purse was too heavy and it broke off the chain. So she had to carry this purse around that was melting in her hands the whole time, and her hands were going numb and stuff. It's like, oh my God. Um, but that is going to be like the universe is going to be, going to keep reminding you, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And so the people are pointing out like what's still going on in Flint, Michigan with the water for fucking years now. They just can't manage to get these people fucking clean water. But here, this person's carrying a melting $22,000. The frivolousness and the wastefulness of what they did at this elaborate show of is like a distinction between the wealthy and the poor, the moral and the immoral. It's showing these two, and the amount of money that they had spent on that and how much good they could have done for people in the world to make the world a better place. But it was more about, carrying your purse to show you can afford $22,000 thing. Like they all want to show like where they are in life, like they're good enough for whatever the fuck. I don't even know. More and more shit with the Kardashians, the more and more with Kendrick and fucking Drake, more and more with Diddy. Like, it's just going to keep going and going, and it's going to keep splattering and splattering. There's so much more going on. Like, every day there's something about Donald and his trials and stuff like that. But all the things with him, paying attention or whatever, I'm not going in. I already have seen all this stuff. So, but all of him to keep coming into the room and coming into the room is to get people to realize like the stuff he's saying is like, they're criminals. Look what they're doing to him. And, and then plus when it comes out that he's the rightful person in charge and they see the power of this organization and how they were able to do so much. I think it is also, that is kind of a part for people to kind of awaken to kind of lessen the blow when they really see how this was so manipulated for so long. And so that kind of lessen the blow. But there's still, there's people all day long still just like, Donald, a monster. And then these young people so pissed, like, I can't believe there's only these two guys, and where are we supposed to make the world a better place? But everything is supposed to be pushing people to be like, this is bullshit. We don't need these people. We don't need these people. This is all fucking bullshit. And we're paying these people. And all these people are just using us. Like the bank is, now they can't show $7 fucking trillion, $74 trillion or something. It's ludicrous, the amount of money that they've lost. And so that is where it's all got to go. And then the people who are paying attention, that's going to make them think like, oh, fuck, the banks are having some problem. That's going to put it into their mind to think like, fuck. And some people, their solution would be, oh, well, I'm going to go get cash, which the banks are limiting that. And there's more videos of people trying to get cash to go buy a car and stuff, like a couple $1,000s, and the bank refusing because they fucking $74 trillion that, like, they don't have it. Like, they don't have it. It's all fucking game. It's all fucking show. They've already taken your money. It's gone. And that's what I've said every time. It's like, as soon as the money goes in, fucking spend it. And I feel so fucking, glad of all this stuff. Like, I got my fucking explant done. I got it all paid for. I got over there, got to the place, got back, got through the food. I just ran out of all the food I made for Stella. Just ran out of it. So 3 weeks, the water thing, I just changed the water. I had enough water. And I was like really situated and even with all of the bills, not paying all of my stuff, just being on time, like as I wasn't late on anything except for the house, of course, but the house, because this is some bullshit. This is fucking against our fucking rights. There's so many things they're against our rights. And and it's not just when it's not just me and a couple other randos out here talking about it and starts like hitting in, that is when everybody's gonna go, fuck this. I'm not paying these motherfuckers. Maybe that will be a big thing too. Maybe the $74 trillion will be like, oh, I'm not paying anymore. I'm not giving the banks any more money. But the whole thing is that the dollar, the actual currency, that is going to crash. So even if you try and go get a bunch of dollars out, which there is a period of time possibly where, you would be able to use the dollars as cash to get some of the things that you think you need. But there's gonna be like places that you're not, like stores and stuff. There won't be any. There's a store in I can't think of where it is, but they just all of a sudden shut down and just shut the doors. There's food, everything. The store is full of food, the deli is full, everything. And so there's people who are trying to feed the hungry and they are trying to get access into this food. But that is the frivolousness of this, the corporate America, is that they don't give a fuck. And a guy who was at a pet mart, because there's a lot of these people, or Petco, there's a lot of these people who dumpster dive and do videos to show the outrageousness of what these stores are throwing away. And some of the stores go out and damage the stuff that they throw away so that nobody can get it, not out of the dumpster or anything. It's damaged. And Petco threw away a whole fucking shit ton of dog beds, and they went and ripped them, every single one of them, open, so that they were all worthless. Look at the fucking money. Like, they charge us $50, $60, $75 for this, and then they just frivolously throw it away out in the dumpster. And then but we keep on going and buying more of their shit. It's like, ugh, it's so outrageous. And, that's the one thing, too, is why I'm not zippity-doo-dah down to the fucking emergency vet. It was how many times I've gone. And every motherfucking time, well, we're doing all that we can. You've got to give her anti-inflammatory. You got to give her, what's the other one? They want her on gabapentin, which is so many bad things now have come out about the gabapentin in dogs, and no human or dog should be taking it. And, but that's their thing. Anti-inflammatory that damages the liver, and the gabapentin that does some other fucking damaging and stuff, and that's their solution. So that's why I keep trying all this natural stuff. But she definitely has got a pinched nerve or something going on in her back that is really, really bothering her, and all I can keep doing. If anybody else has any ideas, like I've get a warm towel and lay that over the light. She won't even, she keeps getting really mad about the red light. So I don't even know. I've moved her bed out now because she can't even lay in her bed. This is like kind of breaking my heart, is that when she was younger, and this was just a couple of years ago, like she got really bad around the time Winston died. She had some stroke or something. And she used to always sleep in the bed. She would always go, like I could be out here watching TV, and when she was tired, she would just go in and she would just go climb in bed and go to bed. And usually all day long, she was always sitting on the couch, always sitting on the couch. And anybody who'd come over, she would go and just stand and get right in their face and stare at them when they were sitting in her place. And then she would turn at me and cry. And always, the couch was her spot. She hasn't been on the couch in so long. She hasn't been on the bed in so long. And we've been up all night. At one point in the middle of the night, I said, do you want to go to bed? Do you want to go to the doctor? And she jumps up and runs to the door. I'm like, so you want to go? You want to go get in the car and go? And I don't know what she was, getting her in the car is an ordeal every fucking time. And she hates to go. And that's one reason why I want to have a van too, or something that's bigger for her to be able to lay down. Is I still feel like she's going to be, I feel like this is just something, she's got to get through. Especially we went over, because we went out walking early. It was like fucking barely, there's definitely no sun. I think the sun's just now coming up. It was like 5:30 in the morning, but there was still light outside. And so we went and we're walking, and she's, waking up the neighborhood. Wanted to go in the neighbor's yard, and Bert and Tommy, both the cats, were out. And so she goes, once she realized, she goes running up, and Bert goes running up the tree. Stella goes plowing over, knocking shit over. and goes and starts barking at the tree. Then I see there, because the neighbor's got these cameras everywhere, security cameras that come on, and she can watch her house and stuff from work. And, and I see their lights come on, and she comes down. I see her look out the window. I'm like, oh my God, Stella. But, she was able to, get going on the chasing the cat. It's crazy how every time that she feels motivated to do some, crazy jump and run or whatever, all of a sudden she forgets that she's in pain then. She just goes with her pure instinct and goes taking off. And then she comes in and sits and whines and whines and whines. And right now her hips look so tiny to me. So, and she has been, steadily losing weight. Like, that's a big thing, too. As a boy, they were constantly telling me, she's got to lose weight. She's got to lose weight. They wanted me to get her from 175 to 135. All she wants to do is eat. She is a big, beefy girl. Lucy, my other my other English Mastiff, she weighed 135, and her body was totally different. Her body style was totally different. She had much longer legs, and she was much more sleeker. Stella is lower. She's beefy. She's got this big, broad chest. She's like, but she does, I like her hips are pretty narrow. And she has lost a lot of weight on her hips. And I know that's the walking and walking and walking it gives her, because we go out for a couple walks a day. And that was another thing the vet had wanted. So anyways, I feel like I'm doing all the things, and I'm giving natural stuff with the CBD, and the RSO with CBD too. So doing CBD, and this morning I made her up some golden paste, and that is the turmeric and honey and coconut oil, made a little paste and gave her some of that. And that's there's a thing about that being good for dogs and inflammation with arthritis and stuff. And then sometimes she'll start licking her front paws, which I think, that, and they say that can be a sign of parasites, but it can also be a sign of her aching joints. And what was that one? Oh yeah, because I ordered the horse paste stuff. Because everything to me is like everything is parasites. Like, we are fucking overrun with them. And so I'm going to try that and see, because some of this, it seems like when the big thing on the back of her leg, because that thing was like about this big. And then when I put the Epsom salt on it, then it like shrunk, but then I felt like it had like these compartments in it. And then it kind of puffed back up, and then it went down, and I think I soaked it like 3 times. Now you can't even tell there was anything there. It's like gone. But as that is all reabsorbed, a lot of the stuff came out. But when they say that these growths, if they've got, cancer and stuff like that, and which is a parasite. So then if she has that in there, that is in there fighting her system and causing inflammation and stuff. So I'm going to try that and see. That's all I can do, is just keep trying the things that I know of that is right. And then in my teas, I give her all of these different things that she gets all the benefit from my teas. And I have a bunch of more coming today, like with the burdock root and the nettles. And I had been picking dandelions because I was like, man, for her heart. So I have been picking dandelions and putting those in the tea with the soursop leaves and a whole bunch of stuff. But anyways, I'm keep giving her all of these things and trying to do all the right stuff. So I'm doing all the things I can do. And I can't even tell you how many fucking videos too of people taking in their dogs. And some of the people, their dogs are young, and they're taking them in and taking them to the vet and asking them to be euthanized because they can't take care of them anymore. So just fucking euthanize them. And a lot of these, I don't even know how many are being put down. I know healthy dogs are being put down by so many all day long. All motherfucking day long. They're fucking killing healthy animals. I don't, to me, like, if I worked at a place like that and that's what they had me doing, I'd quit. Like, I don't know. If you got to be listening on the inside, and your inside should be telling you that that's, against their rights. What if you want to think of birth rights, if you want to call ours human rights or whatever, but it's literally souls' rights. So they have the right to their own life. We don't have the right to be interfering. It's their life. It's their window of time. And we insert ourselves, we inject ourselves, we control them. There's so much stuff. And the people who are working at these places and participating in this, it was like, I would quit, because there's going to be a swing back on this karmic balance. And if you're just there not caring about other animals and just putting them to death, and you have a shitty attitude, well, that attitude's going to come back on you. So, this is everything right now is about getting you to have morals, to question your reality, and to look at it through moral perspective, because we've been in an immoral world. We've been surviving. I won't say we've been living, but it is way more. We've been surviving in this completely dark space of the more immoral people are, the further they get ahead. So that's why everything is in the upside down. They tell you to be a good person, but then being a good person, it gets you nowhere. And the being a bad person, they elevate you into positions like CEOs and bank presidents and stuff. But those people, like, once this shift goes, there's going to be so many people that we think of as success stories, being people of power, and that they're going to, everything's going to flip the other direction. And I think there's going to be a big part of seeing, like, what some of these people did to get money, like, that they really didn't care about other people, that they were willing to fuck people over, fuck over communities, fuck over, didn't matter. As long as they were moving ahead and getting invited to the right parties, they didn't give a shit. And so, and a part of when you understand about living and stuff about the spiritual is that connection to spiritual, to caring about all the other creations, giving consideration to everyone's existence, not trying to control other people, trying to force people to be what you want them to be, and for people to live the way you think that they should live, but allowing everybody to discover themselves, to discover what is right for them. And then it's a big thing too, is everybody's got to really understand that everybody's at their own level. And just because you think like, well, I understand this and they don't understand that, there can be other things that they understand that you don't understand. You're just focused on this one thing. And so you think that you're way better than these other people. But we're all the same. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here all together if we were really way different. I mean, we don't have the watchers down here, do we? We don't have the watchers sitting here, like they are another level. Like they aren't the experiencers. They are the watchers. They learn through watching. They expand through learning, through watching it is weird too, because it's like, it's not like judgmental, but they can watch and see, like you can watch and see how something plays out. And it's like you can question it and you can think, like you can learn more by watching and not judging and saying, well, they're a stupid person. It's more like say like a designer, and they have a person who they have their design pinned on this person. And so it's more like to get a view like that, so you can see. And then so the watchers, they could be like, well, I think add a ruffle to that. I think they can expand on our learning. They can see more. Like, it isn't like they are just empty vessels sitting there watching us, like, and learning. No, they are like another level. They are like this intelligence. And but they don't come down here and go through these experiences like us. They don't come and put themselves into this. This is something that we do. And but most of the cells or souls do this, this kind of thing, this living, this expansion, this it is everything reverberates through the universe, but it's like every time you go in and play these roles, every time like you go and you try on a different dress and it gets pinned and everybody looks at it and everybody decides, then you try on a new one. It's like a whole new set, a whole new expansion. And so all the different times that you go through these different lives and these different expansions, these different opportunities for growth and learning and stuff, it is it expands everything else, but it expands you. I wasn't. There was something else I was gonna say, but I don't know. I feel like I'm always saying the same fucking things. But it really is this. This really is about realizing that everybody was caught up in this world, thinking it was one thing, thinking it was one way, and it was very different than what people thought it was, because they weren't even giving any significance to the spiritual side of living and what you're doing here and why you're here and what purpose there is to everything about life and existence. So those parts are that's like the part of where people are starting to see for themselves. And it gives a different direction, because the people were so trapped in the dark. There's so many things that people were willing to do, sacrifice, or be, or whatever, because they thought that was the only way. That's the part that's going to be hard, is when they see that there was more than one other ways, but then they chose. And that is where they're going to question themselves. Like, why couldn't I see? Why was, but everything you're supposed to see, you'll see. Anything you're supposed to see will find you. Anything that that always will come to you. So you don't have to get caught up in the, you did it wrong. When you see, you see when you're supposed to see. You see what you're supposed to see. And then you're supposed to be learning from things as you see them. And but everything, when you start changing over and understanding that this place is spiritual and that you're a soul and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, through your learning, you come into these games to expand yourself, to create, because everything is about this expansion of being able to see yourself, to understand yourself. So it is more and more fine tuning the who that you are. And this right now is such a breakdown of who you thought you were, because you thought you were somebody, you thought this place was something, you thought all these other things. But that's variable of if you were disconnected and you were focused on your thoughts and you were being tricked, or were you focused on your feeling. And more you connect in your feeling to this place, then it's going to be uncomfortable for some people. But the more that you can connect into there, the more comfortable you're going to find it. So the more that you can keep connecting with your spiritual side, your soul side, because that's the real side. The rest of all this stuff was the trick. That all was the distraction. But there was lessons behind it. So you weren't doing anything wrong because you were caught up in the story. But this is this time of remembering, of seeing, of understanding, of clarity. So this is a time where you have to see more than what you were accustomed to seeing. But there is no that you were doing it wrong. That's the thing, is like nobody needs to get caught up and think like, well, I should have learned this way sooner. I should have woke up years ago. I should have done that. No, you would have if that's what you were supposed to do. You weren't supposed to do that. You're supposed to go through the parts. You're supposed to go through the regret and all those things, because those are the things you need to come up. You need those things to surface, because otherwise they're down in your core. And you need those to surface so that you can let go of them, so that you don't hold on to stuff like that. And you got to get into this rhythm of accepting yourself, of appreciating yourself, and seeing yourself as being okay. You're not disappointed in yourself, not angry at yourself, not disgusted with yourself. And, if you do have some pervy ways that disgust you and stuff, remember that that is a dark energy too, that's trying to lure you, that's trying to lure you towards following, fetishes or impulses. And so the more that you disconnect from that energy, the more that that will go away. So don't get all caught up in thinking like that something's wrong with you, you're a real perv or something like that. Just think like you were connected to this really dark energy, and now you need to see why. Most of it is the dark energy comes around when you are low, and most kids go through a lot of low points, so you get all this dark energy that attaches to you, and then it tricks you, and it tells you that it's there for you, and it just starts causing problems in your relationships. And people become like where they think that the dark energy is a part of them. They don't realize that it's a separate energy from you, and so they become more absorbed into it. But that's a part of you breaking free from this artificial side of yourself, to break free from that, to see and to understand, so that you don't get caught up and think that you are these things. As you're not these things. These things are parts of experience that people come in to learn and grow, going through these experiences here in this planetary system. It's like an education, uh, a learning system that you come into to go through the experience so that you can grow. But you got to let go of things and see things for what they are, and not, you just can't get caught up and keep thinking like this person that you've created is you. Like, that is the part where you got to break it down and really try and figure out, who is this person I created? Because I really am shocked about how many people don't understand how to just be natural, just how to be regular. Like, so many people are so used to putting on a fake part of themselves, this fake persona, which I don't know. I don't know, like, I don't know how people do that. I don't know what people do. So, um, but people are, it's going to become more and more uncomfortable. The more you got to go more towards the authentic part of yourself, and that makes you feel vulnerable and makes you feel exposed and stuff. But you got to get into that part of yourself, of this side of yourself that is I don't know, unfamiliar, because it's the real side of you. Like, there's the other thing where people create this persona, and they put on an act or something. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's gotten so accepted and deep in people's lives. Like, it's just like a thing. Like, so I don't know. It can be very significant, very impactful for each person as they go through this. It just depends on how much fakeness that you shielded yourself using, the mask of this artificial world, where there's still so many people who are, hiding behind tons of makeup, hiding behind filters, hiding behind all sorts of, you know, a persona that people put on, a character. And so that is where you got to really, try and understand, who is this character you created? Is this, what part of them is even any part of you? Or is it just a character that you created that you thought was a safe option to go out into the world, that, everybody would be okay with you? You weren't showing too much of yourself so that, you could be liked. And so you felt safe putting this version, this watered down version of yourself out there. But that's where you got to kind of step into a little bit more, show a little bit more of yourself and a little bit more of yourself, to the point where you can get comfortable showing your whole self, just being yourself, just being, as weird as you are, not in this part of where, because I think like it seems like it was back when we were like starting elementary school. Like I feel like when we went into elementary school, there was a lot of us that were still like just our regular selves, And then people got in school, and then people made fun of them and talked down on them and stuff like that. And then they kept changing, trying to become more acceptable, trying to get people to like them. I didn't do that just because I had my guides, and so they gave me a different perspective. But, it seems like a common thing is that people like just tried to hide from themselves. They tried to create somebody who they thought was more likable than who they were, because they felt like, they were a disappointment to their parents, a disappointment to their grandparents, a disappointment to, nobody wants to be their friend. And I swear to God, there's a part of school that is just developed just to start lassoing us in, start containing us right off the bat through bullying. And right now, too, there keeps being like these fucking murders happening at schools, kids being beaten to death and stuff. That is all a part of, everything is all a part of, to get you to look at things, to get you to question things, to get you to see things, and be like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this, like at school, should be safe. Like what they tell us, like it's so dangerous about these things. And now, I saw a video the other day. They were doing some lockdown, and they said it was a skinwalker that they were hiding from. Like, I don't know. To me, that would not surprise me at all if we start having skinwalkers, giants, anything that could happen. Is it's going to just keep being more and more outrageous until we all start waking up and seeing the truth about the supernatural world, seeing the truth that this world was very different than what they told us, and that we are the ones that hold ourselves back. We are the ones who think, so it limits us. It limits our perception, but it's by our own limitations. It's you opening your mind is what opens up everything for you. But it's you who has to take the action to open your mind and begin to trust yourself, trusting your internal guidance, trusting, and that is, just been a benefit to me of being able to live like that and being able to learn to trust myself. So even when I was being rejected by other people, it wasn't where I felt like I had to change. I just kept thinking, like, what? I just kept thinking it was so strange. It was weird. It was like so many things, so many different things. But I just, but to me, there was like a big part of me that couldn't figure out how to be somebody else. It was like, well, how do you even go be somebody else? This is who I am. If nobody's going to accept me and I'm just going to keep being rejected, you still got to make yourself be happy. You still got to find your way in the world. You still got this window of time. You got to make the best of it. So it's not, you can't let it destroy you. And you let it destroy you, you're just wasting time. And then you get to go to your life review, and then you get to see, like, fuck, I just like got my feelings hurt and just sat back and whined and cried for the rest of my life. Is that's no way to live. The way you want to live is to just let it roll off your back. Like, okay, you don't like me, that's fine. Maybe I don't like you. Like, maybe we just don't vibe. It's not that big a deal. It's like, the more you get, it's like one thing too, is like, you're not going to just love everybody. There's going to still be people. It's like, I don't get them. I don't know. But the love in your heart, the compassion of knowing, well, it's their life. It's their story. It's not my worry. It's not my business. And to just accept people. So it's not, that doesn't mean that, all of a sudden there's going to be a flip in you and you're going to just love everybody. Like, you can still go around loving people. But that doesn't mean that you're going to not ever feel like, you know, that person, you've got to figure out how to manage that for yourself. Just don't feel like you're doing it wrong if you don't feel like, oh, I'm just in love with everybody. I'm just in love. Oh, they're great. They're great. They're great. If you don't feel like that, and you know they're kind of annoying and so are them, and don't worry about it. Just keep going to your healing. Don't keep being hard on yourself. And there, because it's not like you don't have to fall in love with everybody. It is more of learning how to just accept everybody, and the process is learning how to accept yourself. So it's learning how to accept everybody. It's not, you know, you have to agree with everybody. You have to believe what everybody else believes, and everybody has to believe what you believe. No, it's getting comfortable with what you believe, allowing others to believe what they believe. And we all just, it's like allowing everyone to just be, allowing everyone to exist in their own existence. Stop trying to control everybody. And the love that you feel will come inside of you, where you will just feel like loved. Like, I just feel love. I just feel happy. And so, you know, just keep going with how it's going, and don't get all caught up in thinking you're doing it wrong and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. Just, you know, just stay going in the direction that you are trying to head towards, where you want to be. Just keep going in that direction and let things play out day to day and show you. And the more you participate, it just, there's like, I think it's just as a part of our society is just to be so hard on ourselves and be hard on everybody else. So the more that you can be easy on yourself and kind to yourself, the more that that's going to generate those compassions inside of you, so that you can spread that to other people. I mean, if you don't agree with them, well, you know, that's great. You're doing great. Don't worry. You're just doing great. You know, just being able to be that way, to not be like, you know, you don't have to invite everybody over for dinner or anything, but you can just be, you know, kind, I guess, is what I would think. Just spread the kindness. And to remember, you know, what it's all about is you learning how to love yourself, how to love everybody, because that is, you know, what we're doing here. And it's up to you how to have a loving day, how to figure out. And it's what we're doing. So keep on doing it, and I'll talk to you later.